everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Pauline the Analyst, and today we're unlocking the power of SQL Union. So this is effective or a game changer when you want to combine results from multiple queries into a single dataset. So whether you are merging customer lists, consolidating reports, or even analyzing data from different data sources, SQL Union is the one you need. So by the end of this video, you will be able to use this tool like a pro. So let's get started. So in this video, we are going to cover 1. What SQL Union is and why it's different from joins. 2. How Union compares to Union All and when to use each. 3. A step-by-step setup with 2 sample tables. 4. Writing Union queries with a live demo. 5. Handling column mismatches and sorting results. And finally, real-world scenarios where Union saves the day. So let's get started. In our next segment, I want us to understand what Union is. So imagine you have 2 separate lists, one with active customers and another with inactive customers. Instead of running 2 queries, Union lets you stack them into a single result set, like combining 2 Excel sheets vertically. So in our next segment, I want us to set up our tables. So let's create 2 tables. One will be Customer East and the other one will be Customers West. This will represent the customer data from different regions. So let's write that down. So first, we'll begin by creating the East Coast customers. And for us to create a table, we'll use create table. The table name is Customers East. Open your brackets. Then fill in your columns. So my first column will be the customer ID. And since it's a number, the data type will be an integer, and this will be the primary key of the table. Next column will be the name, and since it's text, it will be varchar, and I don't want it to have more than 100 characters. Next column will be email, and since it's a text, its data type will be varchar, and I also don't want it to have more than 100 characters. My next column will be the region, and since it's also a text, I don't want it to have more than 20 characters, and the data type will be a varchar. And this will be the default. The default will be East. So let's highlight our query and then execute it. And voila, our command has been completed successfully. So now I want us to create our next table, which will be the West Coast customers. We all know that to create a table, we start with create table. Our table name is Customers West. So open our bracket. Then our columns, create our columns. Our first column will be the customer ID, and since it's a number, it will be an integer, and this will be the primary key of the table. My next column will be the name, and since it's a text, its data type will be a varchar, and I don't want it to have more than 100 characters. My next column is the email, its data type will be a varchar, and I also don't want it to have more than 100 characters. And then my final column will be the region, and since it's a text, the data type will be varchar, and I don't want it to have more than 20 characters. And the default will be West. So let's highlight our query and then execute it. And voila, our command has been completed successfully. So on to our next segment, I want us to insert the data into the tables that we have just created. So now let's insert data into both the tables. I'll first start by inserting data into the East Coast table. So for us to insert data, we'll start with insert into. The table name is the Customers East. Here it is. Then we're inserting values into this table. So in my first row, we have the customer ID. The customer ID will be 1. Let's first open our bracket. 1. The name will be Alex Johnson. The email will be alex@example.com, and then the region will be East. The default value is East. On to our next row, we have the customer ID will be 2, the name will be Priya Singh, the email will be priya@example.com, and then the region is East. Then my final row will be the customer ID is 3, name is Jamal Ahmed, email is jamal@example.com, and then our region is East as well. So let's highlight our query and then execute it. And voila, 3 rows have been affected. So moving on swiftly, we are going on to the West Coast data. So we will insert into the customers West table, and the values that we will be inserting include, so in my first row, we have the customer ID, which is 101. The next is the name, which is Maria Garcia. Then the email will be maria@example.com. Then finally, our region is West. On to our next row, we have the customer ID, which is 102. The name is Ryan Kim. The email is ryan@example.com, and our region will be West. Then my final row, the customer ID will be 103. The name will be Alex Johnson. The email will be alex.j@example.com, and the default region is West. Close our bracket and finish our query. And I want us to note that it's the same name, but a different email, as you can see from this here and this here. So let's highlight our query, execute it, and voila, 3 rows have been affected. So on to our next segment, I want us to write a basic union query. The syntax is simple. Just run 2 select statements and connect them with union. So first, this is our syntax. We have select the customer ID, then the name column, the email column, and finally the region column from the customers East table. And then we introduce the union, and then again, now we are uniting a second table that is select the customer ID column, the name column, the email column, and finally the region column. All this we get it from the customers West table. So finish our query, highlight it, and then execute it. And voila, here is the table. So I want us to observe some few things here. So the result combines all customers from both the tables, okay? And then union automatically removes duplicates. Notice Alex Johnson appears only once, even though he exists in both tables with different emails. So if you need duplicates, use union all instead. Okay, guys? So on to our next segment. I want us to compare union and union all. So let's compare the two. I want us to understand that union removes duplicates while union all keeps duplicates. Okay, guys? So I want us to begin with union. So let us select the name column from the customers East table. Then we use the union. Then we select the name column from the customers West table. So highlight our query and then execute it. So as you can see, this removes duplicates. That's why it's telling me there is an invalid column. So let's try it with union all. So I want us to compare union and union all. But before I do that, I want us to note that union removes duplicates while union all keeps duplicates. Okay, guys? So let's start with the union. So we will select our name column from the customers East table. Then we have union. We also select the name column from the customers West table. So highlight it and then execute it. And voila! You can see it removed all the duplicates. We all know that Alex Johnson should appear twice, but with union, it removes duplicates. Now let's try union all. So we will select the column name is name from the customers East table. Then we use union all, select the name column from the customer's West table. So highlight it and then execute it, and voila, as you can see, Alex Johnson can now appear twice. So I want us to understand that you can use union when you need distinct records, okay? Use union all for better performances when duplicates don't matter. So it keeps the deduplication step. I hope you understand what I mean. So on to our next segment, I want us to handle column mismatches. I mean, what if your tables have different columns? You must align them explicitly. So the example I'll use is that the West table has an extra status column. And for us to do this, we have to alter table. And the table that you are altering is the customer's West table. And we want to add a column, and that is the status. And since it's a text, the data type will be varchar, and I don't want it to have more than 20 characters. So let's highlight it and then execute it. And voila, our command has been completed successfully. But I also want to update the customer's West table and make the status column active. So highlight your query and then execute it, and voila, 3 rows have been affected. But now I want us to add null or a placeholder for missing columns, okay guys? So for us to do that, we will use select, we'll use the customer ID column, the name column, the email column, the region column, and we'll have null as status. That is the column, status column that we just added previously. Then all this is from the customer's East table. And then we use union. Then we also have select, the customer ID column, the name column, the email column, the region column, and finally the status column from the customer's West table. So highlight your query and then execute it. And voila! Very, very simple. So on to our next segment. I want us to sort union results. Okay? And to sort combined results, add order by at the end, not inside each query. So we'll use select. We have the customer ID column. Next is the name column. Then next is the region column. All this is from the customer's East table. Then we use union. We select the customer ID column, the name column, the region column. All this is from the customer's West table. And I want us to order by name. And I want you to know that this applies, the order by, it applies to the final merged results. So let us highlight our query and then execute it, and voila. Very, very simple. So on to our next segment, I want us to understand the real world uses. Where is union actually used? 1, in consolidating reports. For example, monthly sales from multiple regions. 2, merging legacy and new system data during migrations. And finally, creating master lists. That is employees plus contractors. Very, very simple. That's SQL Union, your go-to for combining query results seamlessly. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more future tutorials. If you have any suggestions for future videos, don't forget to drop it in the comment section below. So until next time, happy coding!